Hi, good evening, everyone. So, firstly, am I audible to everyone? So, if it is yes, then thumbs up. So, good evening. Good evening. So, obviously, you have completed two classes. That is, one is physics, that you love a lot, and one is chemistry. And this time it's a biology. Ajay, how many of you like to study biology? Oh, too much of students are there. Good. A lot. So till now, I think in biology, what are the chapters you have studied? In class 10th, I think it's a very basic chapters was there. But this time we'll go in a little bit interesting manner, or we can say it's a vast manner. Good evening, good evening. So slowly, the students are coming. I love to study biology. Oh, good. Life process. In CBSE, yes, not in deep, because once you start studying class 11th, you find that class 10th it's a too shallow. Like the deeper part is still there in class 11th and 12th. But anyway, like deeper part doesn't matter. So as you go deep, the interest will be there. So interesting topic is there. So don't worry about that is the deepness of the topic. So topics should be interesting. So it doesn't matter how deep it is. Okay, heredity, life process, control and coordination, reproduction. These are the chapters like that we will go in deep. So these chapters. So firstly, I will introduce myself. So my name is Raman Kumar. So I will teach. So firstly, my name is Raman Kumar. I will teach what? I will teach something that is related to plants. So can you tell me anything which is related to plant and still you are studying? So which part of bio? It's simply bio or some part, some specific terms we are saying? Yes, that is botany. So botany is the part where we are dealing with what? We are dealing with the plants, and obviously these plants will help you to achieve your career. Because in NEET exam, if you are talking like the importance of like botany, zoology part is also there. Same as it is if you are talking about physics and chemistry. So we can say it's a 25% importance is there in your NEET exam. So obviously plant is important. And anyway, like plant is important for us. Like we are getting food, oxygen is also coming from the plants, and along with that this also helps you to get good rank in the NEET exam. So obviously plant is too much important from your personal life to the professional life. Okay, so anyway, like what I will teach is that is botany, study related to plants. No doubt, like a lot more chapters are there. Like out of that, in plant, like we will talk about the plant physiology, but we will start with the very basics. So what are the basic? The basic which we can say that it is there in my body, it is there in your body, or we can say we can't imagine the whole living world without this. The whole living world without this. So what's that? Can you name that term without which we can't imagine the living world? Or we can say basics of everything is that. Fill in the blanks. So fill it. Oh, A lot more students has filled this. Yes, that is a cells. So cell is nothing but it's a unit of life. So why we are saying it's a unit of life? So whatever the complexity is there, the basic similarities. So what is this basic similarities? It will be 100% cell. So today we'll talk something about the basics, that is a cell, the unit of life. Okay. Fundamental unit of life, good. Achha, why we are saying it's a fundamental unit of life, and what does it mean by fundamental? So fundamental means, can we say it's a basic, it's a necessity of everything. Like once you start visualizing, or we can say once you start seeing the living world, a lot more diversity is there. So from the microscopic, like you can say it's a bacteria. Little bit, if you are going more, you can say it's a what? Protista. Next one is, if you are going to the fungus, like how many of you have heard about the fungus? A lot more students know about the fungus. Next one is, if you increase the complexity, if you increase the complexity, then what comes? That is plants and animals. So plants and animals is little bit like more complex, but if you are talking about the one is bacteria, one is protista, and one is fungus. So these are having little basics. But as we are moving from the simple to complex, what is common? So the common is the cell. So that's why we are calling it as a fundamental. So fundamental means which is present everywhere. Which is present everywhere. So either you are talking about the simple thing, or we can say you are talking about the complex thing. You can find the similarities, that is the cell. Okay. So today we'll start little bit introductory part of what? Introductory part of the cell. Okay. So in this case, so our name of the chapter is Cell, the unit of life. So obviously, the is representing its uniqueness. Like no one can replace this. So here we can say cell, the unit of life. The unit of life. But before going to that, firstly we'll describe why we are saying it's a unit. We are gonna about cell theory now. No, cell theory we'll discuss later. Firstly, we'll discuss about what? That is the introductory part. Because many of the scientists comes and gives their views, like the cell looks like this, cell behaves like this, cell behavior is very simple, cell behavior is very complex. So many scientists comes and give their views. After that, the theory will come. After that, theory will come. Okay, so anyway, like if you are moving to this, why we are saying, so firstly we'll try to define the cell. So we can say cell is nothing but the, so structural, so firstly one is structural and other is nothing but the functional unit of life. Structural and functional. So structural unit of life. So why we are saying it's a structural unit of life? Because wherever I find, like if I'm seeing the skin. So again, the skin consists of what? Skin consists of the cells. Liver consists of cells. Heart consists of cells. My eyes consist of cells. So that's why it gives you some structure. It gives you some structures. So that's why we can say structural unit of life. Like for example, skin consists of this, liver consists of this, human being consists of this, or we can say it's an organ consists of this. Okay, so this is nothing but the structural. So is that right? Like are you agree with me? Like why we are calling it as a structural unit? Because this one unit keep on multiplying to give you this structure. Like I am a structure. And I consist of what? Consist of cells. Okay. Next one is, if you are talking about the functions. Now, once the structure has been formed, again, the structure will perform certain kind of functions. So what the function it does, again, it depends on the cells. Okay, so it is also nothing but the unit of life. Like if you are talking about the respiratory system. So for example, it's nothing but the respiratory system. Obviously, what is the function of respiratory system? Can anyone? What is the function of respiratory system? I think it helps to exchange the gases, and that gases will help to what? That gases will help to generate some kind of energy, right? So here we can say it includes both, like breathing. And next one is, or we can say it's a gaseous exchange. Gaseous exchange. And meanwhile, what happens? Meanwhile, here it's ATP, or we can say energy will be generated. And that energy I can utilize to perform my work. Like I'm using this energy to teach you. Same as it is, you are using your energy to listen this class. Or we can say doing many activities. Okay. So this is nothing but the functional. So one is structural and one is functional. So cell is nothing but the structural and functional unit of life. This is the first part. After that, if you are moving to the next, like if I am talking about the living, or we can say live cells. So to be live, or we can say to be living, here few criteria should be there. So criteria for live structure. Criteria for live structure. So I think the criteria for the live structure is at least it should have what? At least it should have the membrane, or we can say at least it should have a boundary. Okay. So next one is, so here few terms I will write, or we can say criteria. The first criteria is, so what is the first criteria? So the first criteria is it is having its own boundary. Within that, it will do everything. Okay. So the first thing is it should have the boundary. It should have the boundary, or if you are talking about the cell, then we can say it's a cell membrane. If you are talking about the cell, then we can say it's a cell membrane. So membrane is very thin structure, and that thin structure will maintain this boundary line from the outer environment. So this is the one thing. Next one is, if it is a living, or we can say if any living structure try to survive, if any structure that try to survive, so for them what is required? So I think it's a genetic material is the most important thing. What is important? So I think it's a genetic material. So how many of you are having the genetic material in your body? I think everyone, right? Okay, DNA is a genetic material. DNA is a genetic material. Okay, everyone is having, great. So everyone is having, it's a genetic material. So why we need this genetic material? Because if we want to transfer any information from one generation to another generation, or we can say from one cell to another cell, we need certain type of language. Because in this case, like now, I'm communicating with you what? I'm communicating with you some language there. Same as this, if one cell tries to communicate with the other cell, it should have some kind of language. So what's language? So language is written in the form of DNA, or we can say it's a nitrogenous base. I think many of you have heard about this. That is adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosine. So these are nothing but the small units. Once you combine this unit, you will get meaningful information. So here, next thing, and the most important thing is each and every live cells, or if someone is saying that I am living entity, So what you should ask? You should ask like whether you are having the genetic material or not. So if anyone is not having the genetic material, I can't say that is a living one. So the next thing is we need genetic material. So normally, what are the genetic material? So DNA is considered to be a common genetic material. DNA is considered to be as a common genetic material. So here we can say usually DNA is a genetic material. In some case we can say RNA can also be the genetic material, but in the case of what? In the case of virus. In the case of virus, I think a few years back, like in 2020, there were a spread of virus that is known as coronavirus, right? I think everyone is aware about this coronavirus. So that virus is also having genetic material. But what's that genetic material? So that is nothing but the RNA. So RNA is the genetic material in the case of virus. So here we can say usually DNA. Why I am saying usually, not all the time? Because sometimes the virus can have, so some virus can have RNA as genetic material. Okay, but for you in this class, like, is there anyone who is having RNA as a genetic material? So obviously, I expect the answer should be no. I expect the answer should be no, because we all belongs to the same species, or we can say same genus, that is the Homo sapiens. So in that case, everyone is having what? DNA as a genetic materials. So these are the few parts. Now, if you are moving to the next, what else is required, or we can say what is mandatory for the structure to be living? RNA means that is a ribonucleic acid. Gautami, RNA means it's a ribonucleic acid. Same as is DNA. DNA is nothing but the what? Deoxy. So one is ribose and one is deoxyribose. So these are the sugar. Based on the we can say structural change, you can get different type of RNA and DNA. Okay. So if you are moving to the next, like let's say you are having information. But you are not able to express that information. You are not able to express that knowledge. So obviously the knowledge becomes meaningless. So that's why you should have some kind of technique, or we can say skills, so that you can make one more copy of your genetic material. So that you can transfer to the next generation. Or you can say one cell can transfer its genetic information to the next cells. So how it is transferring? So transferring in the form of, again, it's a sequence of nucleic acid. So here we can add one more thing, that is replication. So one more term is there. So if anyone is having these three properties mainly, then I can say, or I can say that structure is what? That structure is a living structure. Otherwise, I can't say it's a living structure. Okay. Now, next one is, after that, obviously, along with that, what else is required? Achha, in this case, what is replication? Replication means, let's say, one copy of a gene is there. And this one copy, like I make one more copy of it. So I can call it as a replication. So replication means making the copies of what? Copies of genetic materials. And why it is required? Can anyone tell me? Or let's say, can you say any structure that is living but still it is lack of replication power? It is lack of replication power. Can we say that any structure is living? So obviously we can't say that a structure is living, because living means like this needs to transfer their information from one generation to another generation. So that's why this replication part should also be there. After that, in this some students are saying it's a duplication, or we can say cell division. During the cell division, this is required. I'm just making one diagram. Let's say one cell is there. This one cell is having its genetic information. Let's say this is the genetic information. And when this one cell gives, or we can say divides. So while dividing, what happens? It becomes two. And both the daughter cells will ask, can you please share your genetic information? Because the behavior of the parent should be equivalent to the behavior of the daughter cells. And how the behavior will be controlled. Obviously, this is related to the informations. So here what happens? This replication will occur. Now this one copy turns into the two copy, and I can distribute among the daughter cells. So I have distributed among the daughter cells. So in this case, what happens? The feature of parent will be present in the daughter cells itself. So in the means indirectly we can say it's a cell division also. Like some of the student is writing yes, cell division is there. So whenever the replication is required, or we can say replication will be there, after that next step will be what? That is a cell division. Because one cell is dividing into two, without replication it's not possible. Without replication. In the nerve cells also it's happening. But in the nerve cells, what happens? Once it divides, after that, the division will be arrested. So after that, it won't divide. But while dividing, it has to replicate. It has to replicate. So is that clear, everyone? Okay, so one thing is 100% clear, like during division, replication is required. After that, now we'll go to the next one. The most important is, so what's that? Metabolism is also important. So metabolism is nothing but metabolism is nothing but whatever the chemical reaction occurs in my body, whether it's a catabolic reaction, or we can say breakdown kind of reactions, or otherwise I am synthesizing something. So combinedly I can call it as a what? Metabolism. So metabolism means what? Catabolic process as well as anabolic process. So catabolic process means what? The bigger things broken down into the smaller things, that is a chinna, like pedda turns into chinna. So it is nothing but the what? It is catabolism. And chinna becomes pedda. Means what? It's a anabolism. So little bit word I know in Telugu, so I am using this. So it's nothing but the metabolism. So metabolism is also there in the cells, then only we can say this is right. So metabolism, it includes both what? Catabolism plus plus anabolism. Okay. So in your body, what type of reaction is going on? Catabolism or anabolism or both? If the question will be like this, which of the following type of reaction occurs in our body? My first option is catabolism, second option is anabolism, third option is both of them, and the fourth option is none of the above. So what will you mark? So obviously I will mark third option, that is nothing but the both 1 and 2. Catabolism as well as anabolism both occurs in our body. Because our body is nothing but the autonomous. Whenever it requires, it will synthesize. Whenever something else is required, so it will break down. So synthesis and breakdown is a continuous process that depends on your body requirement. So now we are moving to the next, like a little bit more terms related to that. So can you tell me like what type of cell is present inside your body? Like you might have heard about the eukaryotes and prokaryotes. I think so. Eukaryotes and prokaryotes. Oh, so everyone is eukaryotic. Oh, great to see. Eukaryotic, yes. We all are nothing but the eukaryotes. And any prokaryote? So obviously there is no prokaryotic cells. But nearby your bed, or we can say nearby you, there might be some microscopic organism will be there. So that I can call it as a prokaryote. Means we are a eukaryote, but living with the prokaryote. Okay. So here we'll add something. What's that? If you are talking about the body, or we can say if you are talking about the organism, because what I said, cell is nothing but the what? Cell is the basic, or we can say fundamental unit of life. So can we say that the life starts from the cell itself? Means below the cells, or we can say anything less than the cells, I can't consider to be the life. So are you agree with my statement or not? Like anything less than the cells, I can't consider it to be a living. Because my first criteria to be living is the cells. Okay, good, yes. So actually it's a correct. Like the simplest form of cell, or we can say organism, is nothing but I can say it's a unicellular. So based on this, if we try to increase the complexity, I can find two type of organism. What's that? One, I can call it a uni. Like it consists of what? It consists of only one cell. And that one cell has to take care of all the activities. So that's why, based on the name itself, I can say that here it's only one cells are there. After that, now it becomes what? Multicellular. So one is unicellular and one is multicellular. So if I am talking about the unicellular, means that is only one cells, and that cell itself is doing all the activities. So what are the activities for the life? So I need to respire, same as it is excretion, digestion, reproduction. So all the activities is done by what? All the activities are done by the same one cell. That's why I can call it a unicellular. So unicellular means, here we can say simplest form of life. Simplest form of life is nothing but the unicellular. Okay. After that, if you are moving to the next, so what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages? So advantage, I can say that they are immortal. They are immortal means they never ever die. They never ever die. So this is somehow advantage, but that advantage is not so good. So one is simplest. And in this case, this one cell depends on other cells, or all the activities is done by the same cells. So here we can say all the activities are done by the same cells. So that's why we can say it is nothing but the independent existence. So they are having the independent existence. Okay. Now next one is, if we are moving to the next, like all the life activities carried out by same cell. That is a problem. So here the same cells has to eat, has to digest, respire, or we can say many things they have to do. Okay, so that's why it's a little bit complicated as compared to the multicellular. Next one is, so that's why I can add one term, that is the division of what? Division of work. Division of work, or I can say it's a division of labor. Now, same as is, just opposite to that, multicellular is enjoying its life. So why multicellular is enjoying its life? Because respiration is done by respiratory system, circulation is done by circulatory system, digestion is done by the digestive system. So that's why they don't need to do all the activities. So that's why multicellular is good. Why it is good? Because we can start with the first one is, that is a division of, here it's a division of labor is absent, and this absence becomes presence in this case, so that's why they are enjoying. So here we can say division of labor is present. So division of labor is present. Okay, in this case, let's say I'm saying this organism, unicellular. Unicellular is having independent existence. What about this multicellular? Do they have independent existence? Do they have independent existence? Yeah, obviously they are also having the independent existence. Because like my existence depends on what? So obviously my existence doesn't depend on others. No doubt I am multicellular, but if I'm talking about the cellular level, then we can say that is the dependency of one cell is on another cells. But if I am talking about the organism point of view, then both are independent existence. Both are having the independent existence. So after that, can you tell me some example of unicellular? So can I get some example of unicellular organism? Like we all know that we are nothing but the multicellular organism, but I want to have some, yes, amoeba, good. Amoeba, yeast, oh nice. So can you tell me like yeast is what? Bacteria, fungus, virus, euglena, oh nice. A lot more informations I am getting from you. Paramecium, wow. So overall, I am just writing few unicellular organism. Like one of the answer I got is from your side, it's a yeast. No doubt it's a fungus. Same as it is. I'm also getting few examples like paramecium. Good. Paramecium. And paramecium, you can say one kingdom is there that is known as Protista. One kingdom is there that is known as Protista. So from that kingdom it belongs. Like different kingdoms is there. Protista. Can I get more informed? Blue-green algae? Wow. So it's blue-green algae, how it looks? Blue or green or both? Blue or green or both? So actually, it's not like how it looks like. So the blue-green algae is totally based on what? Type of pigments it contains. Or we can say what type of pigments which helps in photosynthesis. Okay. So overall, a lot more example is there. So I am not going in so deep. So blue-green algae, again it belongs to what? Bacteria. So these are the few examples that you have given. Great. Means you all are serious about biology, right? But the same seriousness is required in all the subjects. Same type of. So overall, we are moving to the next. In this case, what happened? We have divided the work. So in this case, what happened? Separate work has been done by, means they are having the respiratory system, same as it is circulatory system, digestive system, like this all you will study. You will study in class 11th or class 12th, as well as this you will study in your medical college as well. Okay, so digestive system, but my main focus is to get some few example from your side. Few example. Yes, Spirogyra, Surya Kiran. Yes, Spirogyra is also there. Next, dinoflagellates. No, dinoflagellate is unicellular. Dinoflagellate is unicellular, Venkatesh. We can't, yes, human we can say. Plasmodium is also, we can't consider into the unicellular. Human, mammals, plants. Overall, in this case, we can consider fungus, but except what? Except that you have given in the first one. Next one is plants, and next one is animals. Like we also have included ourselves into this kingdom, that is the animals. So one is, we can say, organism, that is a complexity. We can increase the complexity of organism by increasing the number of cells. So here it's given, one is unicellular and one is multicellular. Okay. Starfish. Yes, a lot more examples are there where we can say that this is nothing but the unicellular and one is multicellular. That we will discuss in that class. Yes, phycomycete is also there, Venkat. Phycomycete is in that we can say it's of multicellular organisms will come. Human. Now, we'll move to the next. So firstly, we have discussed that what is this cell and why we are saying it is nothing but the unit of life. After that, now we'll move to the next. So our next topic is what? Like just go with the basics of cells. Like in the cells, you might have heard about some terms like protoplast, protoplasm, cytoplasm, Okay, so just give me thumbs up, like how many of you have heard this protoplasm, cytoplasm? Oh, everyone, nice. So like just I will go with this. So let's say I consider one cell. This is one cell, and from the cells, if I remove what? So removal of cell wall. So this removal of cell wall is nothing but it gives you one term. That one term is nothing but the what? I can call it as a protoplast. I can call it as a protoplast. So if someone is saying what is protoplast, so protoplast is nothing but one cell is there, and remove the cell wall from this, you will get a term that is known as protoplast. No, it's not a protoblast, it's a protoplast. Okay. After that, now we are having what? We are having, so in the next term, what? I have removed the cell wall, we'll get the protoplast. Now, in the protoplast also, removal of what? Removal of cell membrane. Removal of cell membrane. So once you remove the cell membrane, removal of cell membrane, the term which you will get is nothing but the protoplasm. The term which you will get is nothing but the protoplasm. So firstly, which term will come? Firstly, it's a protoplast. Protoplast means what? From the cells, if you remove the cell wall, you will get what? That is a protoplast. From this protoplast, if you remove the membrane part, you will get another term. That another term is nothing but the what? Protoplasm. And in the protoplasm, so can we say that protoplasm is having the two parts? Protoplasm is mainly having to the two parts. One is nucleus. Another one is nothing but the cytoplasm. Okay. And inside the cytoplasm, what are the structure you can find? So in the cytoplasm, you can find a lot more cell organelles and many other structure that is embedded, or we can say that is floating, that is suspended there. So all other structures you can find. So in this case, we have discussed mainly two terms. What's the term? So the first term is nothing but a protoplast. First term is protoplast. Next one is, or we can say next term is protoplasm. Okay. And protoplasm consists of two parts. What's that part? So one is cytoplasm, and along with the cytoplasm, one more is there, that is the nucleus. Okay. So these are the few things. After that, some interesting scientists, like a lot more scientists comes to express their views, like how the cell looks like. But at the same time, not all the scientists is able to explain it properly. But a few scientists, or we can say few renowned scientists or popular scientists, we can say, comes here. So I will talk little bit about what? The contribution, scientific contribution, or we can say scientific name. So can you tell me, like, this is the most popular question. So what's that? Who has discovered cell? Yes, good. Sravant Reddy, Rewald Hook. So are you agree with Sravant Reddy, like he said Robert Hooke? Yes. So here we can say the discovery of cell, it's nothing but one of your friend has said this. Now after that, that was the cells which he has discovered is dead cell or living cell? Is dead cell or living cells? So obviously it's a dead cell. And actually that cell was plant cell. So I'm just giving you one question. One plant cell is there, and that plant cell, after some time, or we can say after 5 to 10 days, the cell died. After dying of the cells, what is left in the plant cell? After the death of plant cell, what is left? Or we can say, what are the structure I can see? I'm still not getting the answer. Yes, Venkat, cell wall. So I can say that cell wall is the structure because cell wall is still dead. Like whether it is present in the living cells or present in the dead cell, the cell wall remain as such. Why? Because already the cell was dead. It is non-living part. So in the non-living part, you don't expect any kind of changes. You don't expect any kind of change. So discovery of cells, that is nothing but the Robert Hooke, and actually that is nothing but the. So what's that? Dead plant cell. So indirectly can we say that the structure that has been visualized by this scientist, that is Robert Hooke, was nothing but that's a cell wall. Cell wall, or we can say it's a network of cell wall. Network of cell wall. But anyway, a lot more like at that time no one was having any kind of knowledge related to the cells. So that's why even by seeing this, it's like a big achievement at that time. It's a big achievement. Now, after that, one more scientist, that is a popular scientist. We can say it's Anton von Leeuwenhoek. Obviously, name is like too lengthy, but still, he is like too much of popularity in the cell biology because he has given a lot more terms, or we can say a lot more methods. So one of the most popular method for Anton von Leeuwenhoek is he has developed one technique where he can culture, or we can say anyone can culture what? Living cells. Anyone can culture living cells, because earlier no one knows like how to culture the living cells, and once you don't understand how to culture it, it's a very difficult you to understand the physiology. Understand the physiology of this. So Anton von Leeuwenhoek like observed, he was the first who has observed what? Observed living cells. Observed living cells, and at the same time he also developed one type of culture technique, or we can say it's nothing but a tissue culture, or we can say culture of cells mainly. After that, one more scientist comes, and the contribution of that scientist is like he has discovered, or we can say he has observed the nucleus. Can you tell me? Because these are the popular name, like you have studied in your class 6th or 7th or class 8 something. Yes, Robert Brown, Dikshita, like Robert Brown is the another one. So two Robert comes, like one is Robert Hooke, another one is Brown. So Robert Brown, he has discovered what? Or we can say he was the first who has explained something about the nucleus. So it is related to the nucleus. So these are the few scientist views was there, or we can say scientist contribution is there. So after that, we are moving to the next. So in this case, I just go with some name of what? Some name of cell organelles. Some name of cell organelles, and that you have to answer the answer related to that. So are you ready? Cell organelles. And obviously we all know that cell organelle is present in what? Present in the cytoplasm. Let's say I am just taking one cell. So obviously this cell is nothing but the eukaryotic cells. So is that visible? Yes. So this is nothing but the eukaryotic cells. And related to the eukaryotic cells, I will tell. So in the eukaryotic cells, or we can say cytoplasm, of eukaryotic cells is having few, we can say organelles, is having the few organelles. Firstly, tell me the organelle which will provide you the ATP. Tell me the organelle which can provide you the ATP. Yes, that is Andy Salman. Mitochondria. Like it, mitochondria. Good. So mitochondria is the one which gives us immense amount of energy, or that's why we can call it the powerhouse of the cells. So I am teaching, or we can say I am speaking, or I am doing my work all cause of this mitochondria. So I think we should be thankful to mitochondria. So every day you wake up early in the morning, just say thank you to mitochondria. Please help today also. So it's a mitochondria. Now, can you tell me a mitochondria is having how many membrane? How many membrane is there in the mitochondria? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many? Yes. So 2, that is correct answer. It seems like a rapid fire round is going on. So 2 membrane is there. Now, after that, can you tell me like one more double membrane bound structure, but that is not present in our body, that is present in a mango, wheat, rice? Can anyone? Yes, that is plastids. That is plastids. Good. Plastids, it is not present in our body, and this is also having 2 membrane. Okay. Now next I'm going to write what? Golgi body. So can you tell me like Golgi body is having how many membrane? Golgi body is having how many membrane? Why I'm asking you? Because you have already studied these parts. These are the very fundamental, very basics. So I just brush up your concept, or we can say, no, it's not 2, Prerna. It's not 2. It's only 1. It's only 1 membrane is there. So in Golgi body also 1 membrane, or we can say it's a single membrane. Now, can you tell me the organelle which helps us to fight against the bacteria, virus, or we can say it helps us to fight against the foreign particles? Lysosomes. Yes, good. But lysosomes is having how many membrane? 1 or 2? So obviously your answer should be 1, then it's correct. So here also we can say it's a single membrane. Now next one is, can you tell me the organelle which helps in protein synthesis? Which helps in protein synthesis. So we can say it's a ribosomes, and anything which is attached, which is related to the ribosomes, I can consider. So I am considering ribosome. And how many membranes are there? How many membranes are there? Ribosomes, how many membrane? 0, 1, 2. Yes, Prerna, it's correct. It's a 0, or we can say it's a membrane-less structure. This is nothing but the membrane-less structure. So obviously, here I can say it's a membrane-less structure, or we can say 0, right? After that, if you are moving to the next, have you heard about this term? Or if you have heard, just thumbs up. Centriole. Yes, good. Do you have centriole? Do you have centriole? Centrioles are absent in animal visal. No. No. Achha, you don't have any centriole. Oh, it's very sad. Because I am having the centriole. Because with the help of centriole only I can divide, or we can say it helps in cell division. So centriole is required. Without centriole, how one can divide the cell? So centriole is required. And this centriole is having how many membrane? Like, is there any membrane, or it's a membrane-less structure? So, Asha, someone is saying it's a 3 membrane. It's too much. Yes, Dikshita, like 0 membrane, or we can say there is no membrane is present. So here we can say again membrane-less, and otherwise we can say present in animal. Now next one is any other cell organelles? So have you heard about the vacuoles? Yes. So this vacuoles is more frequently you can find in plant cells. And this one is having how many membrane? 1, 2, 3, 4. Answer fast. So obviously it's only one membrane is there. So it's a single membrane structure. Next one is many of you are interested in endoplasmic reticulum, right? Or we can say it's a ER. So endoplasmic reticulum is having how many membrane? So it should be 1. Only one membrane is there. Or in other words, we can say single membrane. So actually these are the basics. Like you should know, or we can say everyone should know this. Now next one is so have you heard about the glyoxysomes? Good. Okay, no. Don't worry, like glyoxysomes and all structures that we will study in the main class. But still, glyoxysomes, these are also Glyoxysomes means related to that. I'm just writing here. Same as this. Spherosomes. Sorry. So glyoxysomes and spherosomes are the two structure, or we can say it is considered to be the microbodies. It is considered to be the microbodies which is having and another one is that is peroxisomes. So I want to ask one question, like, do you have peroxisomes? So in this class, how many of you are having the peroxisomes? No idea. Okay. Some students don't have any idea. So I think you should get the idea. Okay. Some of the student is having, another student is struggling like whether I have or not. But let me tell you, it's there. Peroxisome is there in plants as well as in animals. So present in plants as well as in animals. Okay. Yes, present in both plants and animal. Yes. Obviously, time is up. Acha, you have IPL match. Okay, good. But see, IPL match is also important, but at the same time, the study is also required. Anton von Leeuwenhoek culture. Yes, obviously culture technique he has developed. Okay, so anyway, like we'll stop. I will pause my lecture here. So I just dealt with a little bit of what? Little bit of introduction related to the cell biology. So it's nothing new here. So I just go through the parts which you have already studied. So it's like a recalling of your old memories. So that you have studied in what? Studied in class 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and in 11th also you will study. Because this cell biology is the chapter which you will study in medical college also. So can we say that like 6 to 10 you have studied cell biology, 11th also, 12th also. Same as it is, you will study the same thing in medical college, that is 3 to 4 year. So that's why cell biology is the most important. So anyway, bye bye everyone. So see you tomorrow with the new class. Okay, bye bye. Watch your IPL match.